Entertainment news today. You're such a dragon gay. Everything sucks and it's no good. That comes out of Hollywood. There's one place you can go to get all your news and info, and maybe even have a laugh or two. You know it's true. Midnight's Edge after dark is life. We stand for nerds and geeks, we will survive. From Star Wars to Jurassic Park, it's Midnight's Edge after dark. But need never stops. We will keep going through the night as we keep up the culture fight. Midnight's Edge after dark is life. We stand for nerds and geeks, we will survive. From Star Wars to Jurassic Park, it's Midnight's Edge after dark.
Welcome everybody to the program. It is time once again for Midnight's Edge After Dark. I'm Tom Connors. We've got CC Kuroki with us. How you doing?
Doing all right. Yeah, same old, cooking food, hanging out on mead. Try not to cough during your intro.
What you having for supper?
Lentils. I love lentils.
Awesome. We also have with us Price of Reason. How you doing?
I'm good. How's it going?
It's going. How you been? Good.
I've been good.
Good. Yeah, it's just us so far. Nick should be along shortly, and whoever else shows up in the meantime. I just want to say hello to everybody out there. Hopefully you're doing well on this Tuesday. It is indeed. We got some super chats right off the bat. Too tired. Wasn't too tired to send in a super chat before the show. Sends in 5. Said, I saw the headline elsewhere earlier about Hamill. Really begs the question. Was he going commando? If not, was it boxers, briefs, or depends? Well, it depends. Pack of Proton says the pants have left the building. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about that. That was kind of a story to get you in here, but we had a few other things to talk about. But welcome to the program, guys. Hopefully you're doing well today. So yeah, that was kind of the news of the day, I guess you'd call it. Is Mark Hamill at the BAFTA Awards? Is that where this took place, if I remember correctly? I'll get the video up here in a second.
Yeah.
I just had it here. So yeah, so this happened last night, not earlier today, I was going to say. At the BAFTAs, Mark had a little bit of a malfunction there with his wardrobe. So yeah, let's take a look at this video here.
So what makes us love cinema so much that we're all gathered here to celebrate tonight? For me, it's that films create worlds so vivid and stories so powerful that we lose ourselves in them completely. They create immersive cinematic landscapes.
It's like you lost your pants there,
feel
buddy.
alive, whether they're set here in London or anywhere. So what makes us love cinema?
So, yeah,
Why did he fall, though? Did he not have a belt on?
I don't think he did.
He's not wearing suspenders or anything like that. Like,
no, and the podium's too little for somebody to be in there like Police Academy style. What's stupid is that
there is space.
There is. What's funny is that they went wide on this. It's like, dude, what the fuck?
Well, they didn't go wide when the pants fell. We only get
Right,
to
they
see it
didn't go
after.
the wide. They actually wasn't
True,
wide.
but they
when
did after the fact. It was like, I'm surprised Mark didn't play into it there a little bit more. But nah, I'm sure this is a little embarrassing for him.
You know what was interesting is that earlier there was some kind of TDS joke, and he seemed so happy with it, and then he's standing up here, and I don't know. It's just
Karma?
like none of this is a good look for him. He just looks like this isn't a big
Yeah.
deal. This could happen to anybody if he truly was like not annoying
right,
the
well,
way he is these
Here's
days.
the thing I noticed. His top seems like it's way too tight, but his bottom and his jacket seem like they're way too big. Am I the only one here who noticed that?
Maybe he's lost some weight. I don't know. It's possible.
Sorry,
Maybe
you were
he's
saying
wearing like
something
an
else
old
there.
suit from a time that he was a bit fatter, and the
Maybe.
suit is just falling off because he's lost weight. And listen, if the guy wasn't super annoying, I wouldn't look to like point out that he's like this is dumb. But yeah, I mean it's nothing. This isn't nothing burger for me. Even though obviously it's like it's stupid, and it kind of I'm sure it was embarrassing for him or whatever it is. But since they have that podium in front of it, and you don't see his like nuts.
Star Wars boxers?
Right, exactly. If you actually saw him wearing like the boxers and whatever, that would be more embarrassing. But this, so what? So we picked it up and kept talking. It's not such a big deal. That's not my main issue with Mark Hamill. My main issue is that he's super political, very alienating to some of his fans, and I don't like that.
Yeah, I'm with Bryce on that one. I mean, it's kind of hard to like knock anybody for something like that, but given that he's spent so much time recently just attacking fans
there's
day after day after day, and then this happens, it's like, well, yeah,
yeah, exactly. But it's not like this is it doesn't really mean anything to me. I mean, honestly, I'm trying to think. There was one time that I had a bunch of like supermarket groceries, and I was like carrying them up and down and like bringing all this stuff, and then like my pants, which I guess the belt wasn't like so so great. I mean, again, it didn't happen whatever happened to him at the ceremony, but like they started a bit like kind of slipping, and I quickly like caught him and then just continued
I've had
to
my
carry the
times.
groceries. I mean, at the time I was by myself and nobody saw it. I wasn't standing in front of like millions of people talking. But I guess what I'm saying is that it could happen to somebody. It's not the end of the world. It's just that somehow he's annoying.
Man, when you're carrying heavy objects and you can't like get at anything else without breaking whatever it is you're carrying, and then something else is going on, that's tough.
I've had the
Probably all
same
been there.
thing, but it is what it is.
Yeah, but again, thankfully, I was by myself and nobody saw me. At best, I could just chuckle and be like,
Right.
"Ha ha!" Like, look, my pants are slipping as I carry all this stuff. So I had a good chuckle with myself, but I didn't have that kind of audience in a live telecast.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right, that's what somebody is saying. You weren't on stage. No, I wasn't. Nobody saw it except for me. But I thought to myself, "Oh, this is kind of embarrassing." But I embarrassed myself in front of myself.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, it was just a bit of fun. Nothing really to write home about otherwise. Klekioki sends in vibes. Says Tom, please let Bat Tom know. I hope he didn't mind me getting birthday kiss from Catwoman, hoping he could still wish me a happy birthday. Oh. You did what with Catwoman? Oh, now I'm going to get you. You are now on my list. It goes Joker, Penguin, Bane, you. Kalal. Lucky. Oh. All right, now it's written down. You're on my shit list. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you, Klekioki. I'm glad you are here with us, and hopefully you're having a good one. There's another bit of news. This actually kind of was the one that really took everybody by surprise this morning, but I think people are overreacting just a bit. Cynthia Erivo is going to play Jesus in Jesus Christ Superstar at the Hollywood Bowl. So this is not a movie, but let's see what this is about. Cynthia Erivo is set to play Jesus Christ this summer in a production of Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice's Jesus Christ Superstar at the Hollywood Bowl. Erivo shared the news via Instagram and wrote, "Just a little busy this summer. Can't wait." She's no stranger to the show, having starred as Mary Magdalene in an all-female version of the hit musical in 2020 and sung the popular song number "I Don't Know Him to Love Him." Performances for Jesus Christ Superstar at the Hollywood Bowl will begin August 1st and run through August 3rd. More casting will be announced later at a later date. So yeah, it's just a play. It's not like it's anything like a movie or TV version or anything like that.
We did it in high school. It was actually a pretty good play when I saw it then.
What I find is funnier, she's not busy.
You
would think after she's one of the biggest movies of the year.
Remember when I got that email asking if I want to book her for events?
Yep.
And hey, you, right?
We got Marvin the Movie Monster here. How you doing?
Hey, Tom, how's it going? Glad to be here. Oh God, this story. This is the story today. When this crossed my desk today for that Park Place, I was like, I can't believe this world we live in.
But yeah, I think Price is right that she hasn't got much going on right now, considering that's kind of strange. But what can you really hire her for? I mean, I guess she could be in the next Bond movie as the Grace Jones role. I mean,
I don't know. You need an obnoxious, horrible, terrible human being to be in something. Then there she is. She was politicking to be Storm in the X-Men, and I don't see that happening.
Oh, I could see them considering it, but yeah. No, I think Price, I think you're onto something there, and I think that's what kind of this is a sign of. Is she doesn't have much going on for some reason.
Yeah, because remember, she was just getting all those award nominations, and then that email went out, and I told you that it's like strange the timing. That's the time that you don't need to send out an email, you know?
I can't take those nails seriously. I can't.
How does she do anything? How does she pick things up? How does she type? How does she text? Like, how do you do anything with nails like that? I don't understand it.
I will be playing the Jesus in the Superstar role. You will come and see me at the Hollywood Bowl.
Are they going to make Ariana Grande one of the apostles so that she could weirdly rub her hands for the entire thing? The two of them could have a skinning off.
I would really love to see them do a stage version of Nosferatu and hire her as Count Orlok.
Would that
would make me laugh.
At Universal Halloween Horror Nights, they had a haunted house called Goblin's Feast, and she looks like every character that was in there. So the funniest thing I saw somebody say about this casting was she's going to DEI for our sins.
Well, if somebody gets into bed with her, they might, because those claws are going to slash real hard.
Oh, gosh.
I will feed on the blood of the innocent.
Oh, man.
That would be a gender swap.
She is probably my least favorite person in Hollywood right now, even worse than Rachel Zegler, in my opinion.
Yeah, she's pretty obnoxious.
I think she is what Rachel Zegler becomes after she absorbs two other bitches and achieves a perfect form.
Oh Lord, that's all we need is like some monster to be created between her and Rachel Zegler and
it's perfect cell.
Blake Lively or somebody like that. That'd be amazing. Oh Lord. Now, like I said, this is much ado about nothing more. So who really gives a shit? It's a play. It's not like it's a movie. Now, if this was a movie or a TV special, I could see the reason to be up in arms about it. It's just like if I hear this though, it's like, of course they are. I think that was just about everybody's answer.
I mean, I'm thinking back, like, I don't know, Jesus Christ Superstar is not a play that I think of this actress really being well cast for at all. It's a completely
I could see her as one of the lepers in that one song where they're like, see my eyes, I can hardly see.
Maybe. Yeah, but not for the lead.
No. Yeah, well, the problem with Jesus Christ Superstar is it's terrible, and it's Jesus is kind of like really angry the entire time in Jesus Christ Superstar.
Well,
Have you
Andrew
noticed that?
Lloyd Webber is kind of overrated. I'll be honest.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And honestly, I mean, has this aged that well? Really? I have not seen it in years. I can't imagine that it has.
I think it's something
Because wasn't it
you can't
basically?
like you can't take it too seriously. And
Well, I was
just
gonna say,
either,
wasn't it
like-
basically Jesus from the through the eyes of hippies? But anyway,
yeah,
sorry, go.
exactly, exactly. And I can't see her getting on stage and taking it like she's going to take it so seriously that it won't. Like you can't do that with this play, right? There's no way.
Oh, she is going to be super serious about it, and it's going to be everywhere. And I guarantee you, somebody films it and somebody puts it on a streaming service
Maybe.
because it's going to be so important that everyone can see a black gay woman play Jesus. Because for so long, Jesus has only been played by men. It's about time. That's how I do her voice.
I think you got a point. It's not that difficult. I mean, we were talking about that when Taylor Swift did her theater stuff, right? It's like you've already got the performance in place. You just get the camera team in there and you film it and find somebody to host it.
Yeah. You take
I would be surprised if it winds up on Disney Plus like Hamilton or something like that. No, I of course, this is like the Netflix version for Christ's sake, but it's on stage. It's hilarious. I mean, they want you to talk about it. They want us to get all up in arms about it. I'm just laughing at it, thinking it's stupid.
Well, because they think it's gonna get because now they think all of woke Los Angeles, because it's in Los Angeles, so all of woke Los Angeles will go out to see it because now they're gonna feel that they have to. They have to support this now because it's important.
Well, you see and understand that Jesus was a gay black woman, really. They just didn't want to write it in the Bible.
My grandmother always said to me, I don't care what they tell you, Jesus was a black gay woman.
Just like Cleopatra.
Yep. I'm glad you got that reference.
Yeah. Oh, Lord. Is there anything more to say about this?
I don't know.
You know, she wrote some of the songs for the sequel to Wicked because there's not enough of Act 2 to make a whole movie, so they had to add more.
I mean, they didn't have Lin-Manuel, what's his face, do it?
They had she wrote it alongside what's his face, the writer of the actual musical whose name escapes me at the moment.
Yeah, they have to usually do that that's why there's no songs from the first part nominated, because they're all songs that pre-existed in the play.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and plus you have to have it has to be an original song basically. Yeah. So yeah. Anyhow, fuck this thing. It's stupid. It's fun for us to laugh at the end of the day. She's in a play and not a movie. So let's see what you guys are talking about. We got some super chats. We got that one already. Jason Webster says it was a product placement for Uniqlo boxer. Is that what Mark Hamill's boxers? Dark King says Arevio is hoping for a gender bent reboot of Kojak. Who loves you, baby?
Oh, fantastic.
Who loves you, baby?
The answer is
That's
Ariana Grande.
Nosferatu. For those who haven't seen the movie, they wouldn't get it. Yeah. Anyway, we have another story here. This is really a slow fucking news day, guys. I'm not gonna lie. So there was a few legends that skipped out on SNL 50, including Dan Aykroyd. Now Bill Hader, I heard, had a previous engagement that he couldn't get out of. But yeah, noticeably gone was Dana Carvey, of all people.
They showed the church lady in that terrible Tom Hanks segment, but yeah, which is weird because Dana Carvey was on SNL recently because he played Biden.
This is true. Updated with new information from Dan Aykroyd's reps. Oh, so we got an update on Dan Aykroyd because I've been curious what the fuck's going on there. Saturday Night Live icon Dana Carvey has frequently returned to Studio 8H this season to play President Joe Biden, and even revived his famed church lady character in December. So why wasn't he seen on Sunday's SNL 50 special? Variety has learned that Carvey had been struck with a bad flu and was too under the weather to attend. I don't buy it.
Flew, eh?
That would explain why he wasn't there. But his buddy and podcast partner, David Spade, did participate. It's likely Carvey, who was an SNL regular from 86 to 93. That does not even make sense. This is not even a real sentence. Listen to this. It's likely Carvey, who was an SNL regular from 86 to 93, but has guested many times since then, will share more on... That is really weirdly worded.
More on what happened when the
But,
duo
yeah,
released the
duo.
next episode of
Okay, so yeah, he's just going to say...
that. That's not a run-on sentence. That's a marathon sentence.
That's
My
a marathon
God.
sentence. It was weird.
That
It's,
crossed
I guess...
if that crossed my desk, that would be carved up 6 ways from Sunday.
So yeah, Carvey's absence was notable. Also was Bill Hader, cast member for 05 to 13, and original star Dan Aykroyd. According to a rep, Hader wasn't able to make the event because he had a long-standing conflict. Aykroyd's decision to bow out was due to prior commitments, according to his reps. The rest of the surviving original not ready for primetime cast was in the building. Garrett Morris, who appeared on stage, Lorraine Newman, who was in a pre-taped sketch, Jane Curtin, and Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase wasn't supposed to show up, supposedly, but he did.
Just
Aykroyd
showed up.
Yeah.
would
Aykroyd
believe
had
that.
Yeah. Aykroyd, it probably helped Bill Murray showed up too. They weren't probably sure if he was going to show up till he showed up. Anyway, yeah, Aykroyd did post on X, said cracking ahead with pride at having been a co-founder of SNL along with everyone we were together within those 4 years, 5 decades ago. This telecast is historical as the next moon landing. Comedy stars of our age all gathered under the aegis of America's greatest. Yeah. So yeah.
Sounds like Aykroyd gave them the finger.
Kind of. Otherwise, Colin Quinn and Dennis Miller weren't there. Quinn had posted on his X account that he was performing stand-up in Raleigh, North Carolina on February 16th, the night of the special. And no, I'm not surprised Dennis Miller didn't show up either.
Yeah,
He's kind
no.
of prickly. So yeah, I don't know if you guys have any theories or think it's kind of funny that a few people didn't show up, but
I mean, the Kevin Nealon and John Lovitz just did an interview with Fox where they were basically like, comedy sucks now. But you know, it's almost better for them that the big guys don't show up for this, because the second you see like any of like Mike Myers or anybody next to the guys that they have now, like, you know, that little Asian dude from Wicked or whatever, John Chu or whatever his name is, I don't know, but like it's all of a sudden the stars are there. You finally see a star, and
yeah.
it reminds you of what you don't have. It's like in like 2012, you know, when WWE had nothing and Stone Cold or The Rock would show up, and it would be like, oh man, like that's an actual star, and we don't have that anymore.
And there's no pressure for them to be there either, right? It's not relevant enough. They're not sitting there thinking like if they don't show up, they're going to be like missing something important. It's just awesome as it is that the show has been on for 50 years. It's not, it doesn't have that cultural impact anymore. They can just skip it and make a nice, you know, professional statement, and you know.
You know, also the show is kind of a piece of shit now, so I wouldn't want to be involved in it either. I watched some of that 50th anniversary thing, and I didn't like whatever I saw. I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched a bit of it, and I didn't feel the magic. Like, even Eddie Murphy was there, and I saw him, and I'm like, I was really disappointed. Like, I feel like it wasn't well thought out, this event, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, yeah, I forgot what I was going to say there for a minute, but Vorpal Bunny, yeah, I'm sure Joe Pescopo was there parking cars as a valet. Couldn't get in the building though. Yeah, no, I remember saying yesterday that like the problem with having a 50th anniversary and why I didn't give a shit is because when I think back, there's really only maybe 15 years of Saturday Night Live I give a shit about. So out of 50 years, why should I care about the rest? Maybe 20 years tops.
Yeah, that's very true. Like my favorite cast was the Chris Farley cast. Farley,
yeah,
Sandler,
it's pretty much the one
Chris
I grew
Rock,
up with too. Yeah, basically the Dana Carvey, Phil Hartman era, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed some of the Billy Crystal era, but that's kind of forgettable. It was more or less the Billy Crystal show and the Martin Short show at that time.
You look
then-
marvelous.
Yeah, that's all it was shit like that. And Ed Griffin, basically Martin Short bringing all his SCTV shit over to SNL. And then, you know, the Eddie Murphy, it was the Eddie Murphy show and Joe Pescopo show for 3 years before that or whatever it was. So like, you know, like who cared? I mean, to me, it's the original cast and the cast that you just mentioned are the real years of Saturday Night Live. Other than that, it was just, and to me, it's almost kind of weird because it almost was like, yeah, it floundered through the 80s, but it stayed at least somewhat relevant then, especially at least until Billy Crystal got there and Dana Carvey and all those guys. And then, you know, and then like Phil Hartman and all them were there. And then, like you said, when Chris Farley, Adam Sandler, David Spade, Kevin Nealon, what's his face, who passed away not too long ago, Norm Macdonald and all those guys. Yeah, that's the era that I got into, because at least then you were waiting for skits, and I said it yesterday. I'm like, the problem was ever since then, the only shows I've watched is if I gave a shit about the host. Prior to that, I wasn't watching for the host. I was watching to see if we got a Wayne's World, or we got a Toonces, or we got a Mr. Bill, or we got, you know, the church lady, or whatever.
Is there going to be a Matt Foley, you know, motivational speaker?
Exactly.
Absolutely. They don't have those classic characters anymore that would pop up that you'd be like, oh, great, these guys again.
Is Adam Sandler going to sing another song this week?
Molly Shannon, Molly Shannon going to do Superstar, or
I didn't even really care
like
for her in that era, but like even then, yeah, it still at least felt a little more Saturday Night Live. You're not wrong.
Yeah, you had
Will
Tim
Ferrell,
Meadows
all
was the
those
ladies'
guys.
man. Yeah, Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell was now the only recurring characters that they have are politicians.
I've noticed that. It's just
Yeah.
that's all they can really do is just keep lampooning whichever president of the moment.
The show is
after
dead.
week.
Deep Thoughts by Jack Handy.
I love
Those
Deep
were
Thoughts by Jack Handy.
hilarious.
There was a sense of fun, like genuine fun, that existed back in those earlier days. When you look at it now, I don't know. It just doesn't. All the new stuff they do, most of it is crappy. Like even back in the day, you could maybe fall on a sketch that's not so good. Maybe some of the later ones were kind of experimental, but you'd have enough laughs.
Even the making copies guy with Rob Schneider was fucking dumb, but everybody remembers it.
Yeah, I mean, basically, once there's like this kind of cast that have good chemistry and this kind of camaraderie and working together, at least in some cases, and they build, you know, their on-screen chemistry. And I think back in the day we saw more of that. What I see today, just the spark isn't there. They've become way too political. And even when I watched this 50th anniversary, some of it, I was just bored. That part that everybody was upset at Tom Hanks, I was just bored.
Well, that was a repeat of a skit from like 6 years ago. Anyway, they were just redoing it or whatever.
And you know
It's
what? That
just
skit
silly.
when that skit first aired, I liked that skit because the whole point of it was like, you know, rural white guys and black guys aren't that different from each other. I thought that was really funny.
Right, that was
Like, it had
funny.
a funny thing to say. But anytime SNL gets a hit now, they have to redo it and sap all the funny out of it.
Well, and that wasn't even the funniest Jeopardy one anyway. Everybody knows the funniest Jeopardy skit ever was, you know, the Sean Connery one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So like,
Celebrity Jeopardy.
I'll take the rapist for 100.
the penis my
Therapist.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
I'll
anyhow.
take famous titties for 400. That's titles, Mr. Connery. Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton. Yeah, and you also had Norm doing his Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds has apparently changed his name to Turd Ferguson. Turd Ferguson. It's a funny name.
Oh god.
I don't know,
Anyhow.
As a Canadian, you know, one of my favorites was always Strange Brew, because you know, Canadian. But I
Yeah,
think
you're
that the difference is
Canadian.
with that, you're creating completely original characters that people can attach to, and you can repeat that script because you're visiting characters that you love. That's a much higher form of entertainment in my mind than just going on stage and making fun of whatever particular.
Well, and that's when
celebrity
Saturday
at
Night
the
Live
moment.
was at its best. Exactly. Like when you
Yeah.
had Wayne and Garth, the church lady, even Sprockets, even though I hated Sprockets. But I mean, you know, that era and the original era had a lot of characters. Even Eddie Murphy had like Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood and I'm Gumby, damn
Oh,
it.
so
and,
good.
you know, and shit like that. We had, like I said, we had all the other characters too, like Mr. Bill and Toons is the driving cat and shit like that, and Land Shark from the original. You know, they had some great stuff. I mean, all you got to do is just mention it and people know. Even Chris Farley just sitting there interviewing, like, you know, Paul McCartney and stuff like that. Like, those skits were just so classic.
When you did the thing, that was awesome.
You're in the Beatles.
The Coneheads.
Oh God, yeah.
Coneheads. It's Pat, Wayne's World, The Ladies' Man, things they made actual movies out of. Night at the Roxbury.
Even It's Pat, which was horrible.
Yeah. Which is funny because now It's Pat is what like every Gen Z aspires to be.
Yeah, you're right.
No, I read recently that they find it offensive.
That's hilarious because What's Her Face was actually like one of the first open lesbians. Julie, what was her name? Was it Julia Sweeney or was it the other one? Who is it that's Pat?
I don't remember who played Pat.
Oh. She's in Pulp Fiction as well.
Was it Janine Garofalo?
No. It's not Janine. I think it's Julia Sweeney.
Julia
Somebody
Sweeney,
in the channel.
right. You're
What
right.
is she
I'd
doing
say
in Pulp
so.
Fiction?
It is Julia Sweeney. You're correct.
And I think she's an open lesbian too. On top,
What does she do in Pulp Fiction, Julia Sweeney? I don't.
she's
remember.
in it for like 5 seconds. When the wolf gets done taking care of the body, she is the junkyard person.
Oh, she's his girlfriend.
Well, she's not his girlfriend, but she's like the daughter of the junkyard owner, and he's like, "I'll take you to breakfast," and she'd be like, "That'd be great." You know, like, that's like they're just there talking for like 2 seconds.
Isn't it implied that he's banging her?
He probably will. I mean, wouldn't you fuck Harvey Keitel if he bought you breakfast?
No, but there's something the way he talks to her that I always had the impression that there may be an item.
Yeah, actually, she was the gimp. Bring out the gimp.
Oh, I like
the
your
gimp
audience.
don't know if it's a boy or a girl. What's sad is I actually have that movie. It's Pat.
Oh, that is. I've only ever seen it on the shelf of Blockbuster.
Well, what pissed me off about this movie is bad. It is probably one of the worst Saturday Night Live movies. But the movie was supposed to answer the question, and it never did. It's still in the plastic too. But it never did at the end. It's a big tease, and then the whole thing leads up to, you know, this idea that it's going to tell you who Pat is, or if Pat's a boy or a girl, and then one of the big shots that tells you it's from behind, so all you see is Pat's ass.
Oh, jeez. Of course it is.
And then her significant other, or their significant other, is played by Dave Foley, who's also ambiguous. Like, you can't tell. So, like, that's the whole joke, kind of the whole movie.
Oh, it's so great.
It's kind of stupid, but like, I haven't seen it in like 20 years. I can't tell you. I should watch it and do a report on it. Is it as bad as I remember? Mikey, why aren't you here? Oh, he's not feeling good. Are you eating chicken soup? I sent him Constantine to feel better. Did he exorcise the demons? Little Keanu Reeves.
This is John Constantine, bitch.
We actually got an update. Him and the director have both said that the movie is really close to happening, the sequel. 20th anniversary was yesterday.
Which
That's
movie?
Cool. 4K Blu-ray. Constantine. The 4K Blu-ray came out. So, yeah. I watched the making of or they did a 20th anniversary thing, and him and the director and Akiva Goldsman are on it. And I've never seen Keanu so animated before. Like, I've seen him talk in interviews and stuff, and he's just Keanu, right? When he was talking about Constantine, he was like a little kid. Like, he loves this character. And I mean, I was already kind of convinced that he probably worked out some deal that a Constantine sequel was part of him coming back to the Matrix or something like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised because he clearly loves this character even more than I thought he did. So he's really, really hyped up about it. You can probably tell. So yeah, looking forward to that.
You got a bounce, Marvin?
Yeah, unfortunately, I
St.
got.
Marvin,
I got.
I think, has to bounce here soon. Yep. Go ahead and
Yep,
plug
I got
your
to dip.
wares.
Yeah, I got my my wrestling show, Toonie Talk Wrestling tonight, 8 p.m. EST. But on Thursday, we also have Toonie Talk TV, 8 p.m. We talk pop culture and everything. But check out Toonitown TV, my channel. Trying to get more content out during the week. I just talk about the biggest headlines of the week that's going on in the that's going on all throughout pop culture, movies, TV, gaming, whatever. And also I'm the editor-in-chief of thatparkplace.com. So check it out for all the news that should be fun. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thanks for popping in here. Appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks, guys. See you.
Take care. We got one more story here, just because I can do a funny voice to it. John Malkovich says, "If you're going to hang me from a crane in front of a green screen for 6 months, pay me my money." How was my John Malkovich?
He's got a point.
Pay this man his money.
Why? They didn't want to pay him?
They clearly don't. He's like, fuck you, give me his money. He is supposed to be in Fantastic Four, remember? He's in that one quick
Wasn't he in
shot.
the trailer?
Yeah. He's playing Gandalf.
So wait,
Right,
so
we
they
don't-
ended up
nobody
paying
knows.
him if he's in the
Yeah,
Fantastic
they
Four.
paid him his money.
I liked him in being John Malkovich.
Well, he was kind of made for that role.
I really like him in Burn After Reading. He's so
I love
great
him in
that movie.
everything. He's great in Red.
Yeah.
He's great in. I mean, he's John Malkovich. What can you say? Him and Nicolas Cage need to do a movie together.
Oh yeah.
Isn't Con Air? Doesn't it have both of them in it?
They do, but like that. Not he's because he's. But I mean, like a buddy comedy, like a cop comedy or something. I don't know. I just think they'd be great.
I'd watch it.
I feel like I know exactly what I'm going to get from him in the Marvel movie as a villain, and it'll be great. The movie might suck. I don't know, but he'll play a John Malkovich villain.
The four of you are not so fantastic. I
That's why
want
it
my
works with Nick
money.
Cage. Yeah, you're spot on there.
Did Malkovich ever do SNL? I'm sure he's been on SNL before.
He probably has.
Malkovich. I just wanted to do that so I could say, pay my money. I love Rounders. You've seen Rounders, guys, haven't you?
I have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Pay this man his money.
I didn't see Rounders for many years, but I had a friend who just wouldn't leave me alone. He's like, dude, you didn't watch Rounders. And talked about it like all day and all night. So at the end, I actually sat and I watched it.
Good movie, ain't it?
It is a good movie, yeah.
That was the same
I
way.
saw it in the theater
When
a
it
few
first
times,
came out,
yeah.
I just couldn't be bothered for a few years. It's like, oh, that movie, maybe I'll see it one day, but I couldn't. I just didn't have enough excitement.
Matt
But
Damon
everybody was always like,
had a few bangers in a row there. That one, Rainmaker, and God, what was the other one in that era? I'm trying to remember.
Good Will Hunting?
No, it was after that. That's my point. It was like, because it was like Rainmaker, that one, and something else. God dang.
I feel like Rainmaker, you once told me it flopped or something. I thought it was a really good
it
movie.
flopped. It totally flopped, but it's a great fucking movie. You ever seen
That's
it?
what annoys me. Why did it flop?
It's probably
great.
one of Grisham's best. It just, I don't know if they didn't market it correctly or what. It's also one of my dad's favorite movies. Danny DeVito's fucking great in it.
Isn't it Francis Ford Coppola?
Francis Ford Coppola, one of his last good directed films.
Right, it's one of his last good movies.
Oh, is it the I know what I'm thinking of. It was probably no, I'm thinking of the Ripley movie. Because Born Identity was a little later. The Incredible, because he did like Incredible Mr. Ripley, Rainmaker, and that all in a row. It felt like, if I remember right. That might be getting.
I was annoyed with the Ripley one.
No, but I'm just saying, like, he did great as far as like, he was fine in it. I didn't really care. I mean, the movie was what it was, but
He wasn't my problem. I just didn't like the movie itself that much.
I'm not, you see, and that's the thing. I know a lot of people were kind of turned off by it, but I'm not familiar with the novels. So I couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
what
I'm
was
not familiar with the novels. I just saw the movie and thought it was annoying. But I don't know. I mean, it's not the worst movie, but I guess it had
Bourne
really good
Identity.
actard in it. I remember it had like Philip Seymour Hoffman doing a good role, I think, in there. It had who was the love interest? I'm blanking here.
Oh,
I
was
watched
it
the movie once a long time ago and forgot it days later.
That's not the one that Uma Thurman was in, was it?
No, Uma Thurman wasn't in that one. It was something. I'm trying to remember who the woman was, and for some reason I'm
Yeah,
blanking.
I'm drawing a blank now too.
But I remember that what's his face, that Philip Seymour Hoffman was there.
Yeah, yep. Somebody will remember in the chat. Dogma's great too, but sadly Kevin Smith's a dickhead. Gwyneth Paltrow, that's who it was. Yeah.
Dogma's probably the
Gwyneth
last.
Paltrow, and it also had Jude Law in it, I think.
Well, it's Kevin Smith's best movie overall.
Yeah, I was gonna say I yeah.
And the sad is the script is 10 times better than the movie. Jason Webster says okay, this is Cynthia Erivo is Nosferatu.
You jaw them to stirred me from the dark slumber to star and wicked.
How's that? Hey, Nick.
Hello.
Yes way,
Right on
Ted.
time.
No way.
Yes way. ActionCom sends in 2 and says, Cynthia, have we found James Gunn's Lex Luthor? Well, Nicholas Hoult already is, but that's like Lex Luthor on Netflix. Lost for Words has been here for 36 months. Thank you so much. Sabretooth Raptor says, there is an AI Snow White, but with gremlins. Oh, no. Where? You'll have to send me that. ActionCom says, did anyone see Aspen SNL reunion? No. There are a bunch of regulars. I heard it was a disaster because James Farley showed up high. Aspen SNL reunion. I have not heard about this. I don't know what this is about. Was this like years ago or something like that, ActionCom, and it was just like a little reunion? Because the last reunion I remember SNL having was the 25th reunion. And that was 25 years ago. I actually still have the double cassette of the broadcast, like the actual retail cassette. Dark King sends in $2 or $2 Australian actually. Says, did you talk about the axing of Doctor Who at DEI'd? No, I didn't. We talked about it on our member stream. I'm not a big Doctor Who person, but did you guys hear about that?
I made a video that's already on my channel. Basically, some report yesterday came out in The Sun where apparently people that are part of the production for Doctor Who, that are not, let's say, showrunner Russell T Davies or Nshuri Gatwa, just the more kind of everyday workers there, they're really pissed because they claim that they've been sort of hinted at or told that they shouldn't hold their breath thinking that they're going to get more work after this season, meaning the one that Disney paid for and still have to show. People were telling them behind the scenes that it looks like the show is going to be shelved for 5 to 10 years and they should find other gigs, like they shouldn't count on this for like income or something along those lines. In addition, like rumor has it, and there's chatter that no matter what, even if it continues or doesn't continue, Nshuri Gatwa actually filmed a regeneration scene because he's exiting the show no matter what. And I also feel like there's a lot of spin from his own people. They're like, he has so many offers from Hollywood, he doesn't need this and all this weird crap. But the thing is that a lot of this is sort of behind the scenes people. A lot of them speaking.
Oh, look right here. He'll be starring in the Jesus Christ Superstore at the Hollywood Bowl. I'm kidding.
Probably
I'm
would
sorry.
star in that, but yeah. So I guess what I'm saying is that all of this is happening very anonymously. People didn't go on record, but I guess a lot of people were saying stuff to these newspapers. So after The Sun printed this, the BBC then released a statement, and they said, well, nothing has been canceled. We first of all have to air the second season on Disney Plus, and only after that, decisions will be made regarding season 3 or a potential season 3. But given everything we've seen in recent months and the poor ratings on Disney Plus, I feel like this season that's going to air here is a contractual obligation. I don't imagine that suddenly it's going to do much better than the previous season, which was abysmal. So I don't know. And the funniest thing is that some of these employees that were working on the set were saying that they never liked that the show was woke, and they tried to say something and they were ignored and things like that. I don't know how much of that is true, but like meaning like even on set, people thought that they were going too far with this and it would ruin the show. But they were saying, of course, the type of decision makers that do this later, they can just go to another production. We're left here with no jobs. So people seem to be upset if those are in fact really real people talking to the sun.
You know, the first thing I noticed when they went to the Gatwa era is they created a whole new show profile on IMDb for it, right? It's no longer on the same page as the original 2005 or the actual original 1960s show. It's a third show profile now. Like
Right.
they never really, maybe they did it because they thought they had so much confidence that it would be the greatest thing ever. But it's almost like they were embarrassed with it somebody was embarrassed enough from the start to say
It was
"We're
a
not even
Hail
gonna
Mary
try
pass.
Well, and I
this."
think
Yeah.
part of it's because Disney owns part of it too now because of
Yeah.
that or something
Right.
like that. So
But it
they had to
would just be
differentiate it.
fitting if after 2 seasons it just fizzles and dies and it's kind of like this separate entry. They should have done that after Capaldi, obviously, but
Well, it sounds like that's pretty much what they're doing here.
Yeah, I mean, basically, the show already died with Jodie and with Chris Chibnall, the showrunner, and all that stuff that happened. And maybe there was a way to salvage it with a real course correction. But bringing Disney into the fold and Russell T Davies, who once did a great job with the show, but now he's like a fanatic, weird, extremist politician person. That was all just a very bad mix, along with the BBC. It's like it's a trifecta. It's like a Voltron of the most woke, annoying people, like forming one big Voltron of woke. And that's what happened to the show. Obviously, if it needs to be rescued and there needs to be a course correction, that's the opposite of what you want. So it was just a very strange situation. I guess let me sum it up for you. You know how sometimes there's a movie, like an action movie, and then there's a bomb and it's ticking, and somebody pulls the wrong wire, and then the bomb goes faster. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what happened with Doctor Who. Like it was already like the clock was ticking, and then they came and like did the thing where now like it's accelerating, and just they completely demolished it.
I mean, to me, it's one of the easiest franchises to fix, right? Okay, you wait a few years, that's probably smart. And then you introduce a new show that starts with a regeneration scene featuring the Capaldi Doctor transforming into the next Doctor.
Very
That's
easy. There, not only that, I have an even easier way. I can tomorrow fix it, really. Even though none of these people are going to do it, and they would have to admit their mistake, which they won't do. But all you need to do is you need to bring Peter Capaldi. You do an episode where it starts off. There is a creature that they introduce, kind of like in Aliens, that's like a face hugger. That if it face hugs your face, you go into this deep sleep mode with a lot of surreal dreams. So you start the episode, Capaldi is there with the face hugger on his face, and then somebody pulls it off, and he's like, you wouldn't believe it. Like, I had this dream, like there was some woman and some whatever and whatever. And they're like, nope, none of that happened. And then he'd be like, oof, okay, great. And then maybe just somebody would say, hey, this whole surreal face hugging thing made you age by like 10 years. And he'll be like, yeah, wow. And that would be it. And then give him at least a few episodes where he's the Doctor, write them properly, and then have him regenerate into somebody else that's not like, you know, some weird woke agenda thing.
I mean, I guess they already like showed that they could bring an old Doctor back for additional episodes.
They
So-
did. I think they were called the Dream Crabs, if I'm not mistaken. The face huggers. I think they were called the Dream Crabs. I remember that him and Clara had them on their faces, and then they went into some deep, surreal dream state. That would be a great solution. It's like the Bobby Ewing thing, but within canon, you can actually do the Bobby Ewing, and it's not even strange like with Dallas.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, and then maybe a doctor, like once they remove it from his face, they're like, sir, you've been asleep for like 10 years now. And then he looks in the mirror, he's like, I feel older too. And that's it. Like, you need like 2 sentences and nobody will care. They'll just like bring out their popcorn.
What a
and just
weird fucking dream. I was a gay dude and a chick.
I was a woman and then some other gay dude, and now I'm back. And they're like, well, none of that happened. You grew this face hugger expedited your age, because I don't know if they're even supposed to age really, but somebody just throws a comment in there and it's good.
There's always been a lot of latitude given to Doctor Who for its hokey moments, and that can work to its benefit. It's great when it's really genuinely fantastic, but it can be a bit hammy too, and people will forgive it so long as it's frankly, so long as it's true to its to its lore and its source material.
Yeah.
Somebody wrote who shot in a super chat. Who shot JR? Wasn't she
Maggie.
called CJ or CG or something like that?
CJ or whatever it was. Yeah.
She was like Sue Ellen's sister, or am I confused now? I don't know.
I can't recall, but I think you're right.
I vaguely remember. I thought it was CG, CJ, whatever her name was, and I thought that he was having an affair with her. Maybe she was either Sue Ellen's sister. This is really asking a lot of me because I don't even know how I know any of this. But go on.
Yeah. Well,
now I have to Google it.
Dead Man sends in 5 and says, "I've been hearing people saying McCartney should retire. Thoughts? Do you mean like Paul McCartney? Why?
He absolutely should. I agree with you, Dead Man. And I'll tell you why. I've already seen this for the past maybe 5 years, that every time he's at an event singing, it's kind of like with Elton John. You see, when you're somebody like like a Bob Dylan or a Leonard Cohen or something like that, and for years, like let's say Leonard Cohen, when he was young, he sang rah, 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 rah. So then when he was old, he sang rah, 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 and everybody thought it was great because his voice didn't change. But when you're Paul McCartney and people are used to that crystal clear high voice that you have, when you start hitting those 70s, 80s, you simply can't do it anymore. And I've seen on a number of occasions where like they bring him to play and like he's on the piano, he's playing something, and he just can't really sing, not on that kind of Paul McCartney level. And unfortunately, it's so noticeable that it kind of is a bummer. And I think that Elton John is going through the same process. That's why he doesn't really perform anymore. Especially with those kind that have the high voices and we're really expected to do these kind of extravagant things, they usually are the ones that can't do it anymore. Look at John Bon Jovi, which I don't even consider him that great, but he did have a very high voice, that he could do stuff with, and today he can barely sing. And he had to have surgery because he hurt his vocal cords trying to sing like he used to sing, but he couldn't sing. So I mean, I have empathy. I myself have been in situations like that myself because back in the day, I was sort of a musician of sorts. But I'm saying that, you kind of have to, for me, it's easy to achieve the realization that I'm just like, washed up or whatever, whatever it is that you want to call it. But in their case, I think it's more difficult for them. And they're in a position where the fans still want it and they want to be those younger guys, but they can't pull it off.
It's really, really common in music, especially if you start digging and looking at live shows of any artist you can think of. There's very, very few, like just fortunate individuals whose voices hold up. I'm thinking of Iron Maiden as an example. I mean, that guy just, he's been singing that kind of challenging material for a lot longer than he should have been able to. Anybody should have been able to. Dio, like, I know he died younger than anyone would have wanted him to. I think he was like 68 at the time or something.
Alice
but those
Cooper,
last tours,
he sounds great too. He still sounds great. He outperformed guys who are half his age, literally half his age.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, he was outperforming himself in his late 60s with incredibly, but those are like the rarest of those are like, to speak Canadian here, the Wayne Gretzky's, right? Most people do fade, and most people don't adapt. I'll hit back a little bit on the Paul McCartney comment because I mean the Beatles are not easy, but they're not the most challenging either. They're like I don't really want to see Paul McCartney try and do Helter Skelter at his age, but I mean there is so much great repertoire within the Beatles that he could probably still do very, very well if he was able to kind of like at least. It wouldn't be. I agree with what you're saying about how the voice changes and it doesn't quite match anymore. But there's like he's not in an Iron Maiden position, right? He's not in a Ronnie James Dio position. He actually has a bit more flexibility that he could work with. It's just it's like with any artist, and we've talked about that in movies too. It's like directors, I know that's why we're talking about sometimes with Quentin Tarantino. He wants to only direct so many movies and then stop directing because he's going to flame out and have an awful end of his career. And there's something to be said for that. But at the end of the day, it's for anything. It's like realize that you're not the person you were before and make the most of who you are now. And not everybody seems to
I
be able
mean,
to do that.
so many of the songs, again, I wasn't like a big artist and nobody really cares about my repertoire, but I'll say the things that I sang in my early 20s, I couldn't sing them now. There's certain things that I couldn't sing. Maybe I could try to sing them differently or do something different with them, but whatever I did then, I can't do it. It just, sometimes things change. And I think that that's the main problem that some of these guys have. It's okay though. I mean, it's it's a part of life. Recently, I saw David Gilmour perform, and he was one of those artists that even though he was getting older, still managed to like sing so well. And the last time I now saw him a few months ago, I enjoyed the show. His guitar was good, but you could tell in the singing that there were parts that he struggled with that in the past he didn't. I still enjoyed the show, but I kind of told myself maybe this, I don't know if he should do 7 more tours after this,
Age catches up with you eventually.
I'd love to have his, even singing capabilities and skill at my age. I'd take the way he is now at my age, but because I know I know the level of what he was, just even like 8 years ago when I saw him, then I can see a little bit. It's still at a place where you really are watching a top-notch show, but I don't know if it's something that he should continue for years to do.
All right. Well, I don't know if I wholeheartedly agree with it, but I haven't heard him sing too much lately. So, Nick the Greek says Eddie Murphy's "White Like Me" sketch is off my favorites for sure, or one of my favorites for sure. Sorry, I don't know, because he said off. That's why. One of my favorites for sure. Yeah, that one's a great one. ActionCom says there's a website where you type in English and it will retranslate it into Sean Connery's pronunciation if you read it verbatim. You sound like him. I don't think I do, actually. I think I do a horrible Sean Connery. But yeah, I see this accentuator that you said you got here.
Yes, Tom needs to do the Connery.
Let's see here. Watch Bill and Ted's on Toxic Tuesday. That's the best I can do. So yeah, that looks fun. I was kind of bummed. I hoped it would actually do the voice itself. With AI nowadays, I guess I expect a little more. ActionCom asked what I think of Guy Pearce's swipe at Spacey. I haven't got up to speed with everything. I saw he posted a rebuttal to what Guy had claimed, and I didn't even really see all of Guy's claims. So is Guy Pearce outing himself as gay here? I don't know what's going on.
I feel like
Anybody?
I missed something. Can you explain it to me?
Okay, evidently Guy Pearce was making some accusations against Kevin Spacey about him being stalky and all this other crap, and then Spacey come out and said, "Oh, you're just a big whiny liar," or some shit like that. I don't know the whole ins and outs of it. I hadn't really planned on talking about
Guy Pearce
it.
was gay. I thought I didn't know.
I mean, I don't get the whole story here. It's just his alleged behavior on the set of LA Confidential, I guess. And then Kevin Spacey came back and said he's not a victim after he says he was targeted by Spacey. Basically, Guy said, "I was scared of Kevin because he quit. He was quite aggressive man and extremely charming and brilliant at what he does, really impressive, etc. He holds a room remarkably," the Australian-raised Pierce said in the Hollywood Reporter. Awards Chatter podcast published Saturday, "But I was young and susceptible, and he targeted me, no question." Okay. Targeted you how? Okay, so he goes on, he goes, "I don't want to use the word victim because even though I probably was a victim to a degree, I was certainly not a victim by any means to the extent that other people have been to sexual predators." Okay. So he got unwanted attention from Spacey and did that thing that you do where you brush it off and go, "Oh no, that's nothing. No, that's nothing." And I did that for 5 months until production was complete in 96. Okay.
What movie did he work with him on?
L.A. Confidential.
Well, at least that was a good movie.
That was a great movie.
That's the half glass full, I guess.
I don't know. It sounds to me like he's
Okay.
almost praising the guy.
And here's it gets even weirder because here goes on. He goes, "You really want to know what my response is?" So this is Kevin Spacey. He goes, "Grow up." Did you also, by the way, tell the press that after a year after we shot in LA on LA Confidential that you flew to Savannah, Georgia while I was shooting Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil just to spend time with me? I mean, did you tell the press that too, or does that not fit the victim narrative you have going? So this sounds like they had a little bit of a
Oh, damn.
mhm.
It sounds to me like Kevin probably put on the charm and, you know, it was a little flirtatious, and that was, you know, but maybe they did have
You
a little
don't just travel like that for a buddy usually on a set that you only met once on a set. Like, I'm sorry, no. Especially if you're claiming that you felt unsafe. Something's not adding up here. This is like one of those chicks that tries to scream sexual harassment or anything like that, and then it's like, but didn't you go to his place like 12 times after that? Yeah, he wouldn't answer the door. Yeah, we're kind of see where the story's going now. All right, I don't know. The problem with this is, yeah.
I mean, to
Backdoor.
date, it could be that this is all because he somehow engineered it brilliantly, but to date, nothing is stuck against Spacey, meaning I haven't seen him get charged or they wanted to do something and then the witness disappear. I don't even know. Like, nothing happened.
There's a lot of shenanigans around it, let's just say.
They said that he was
I
like,
mean-
"Oh, justice is coming," and then like nothing. He just sits there and like does videos of him like, I don't know, doing Frank Underwood impressions or something.
I mean, I think this when the Spacey stuff first happened. I remember. I mean, this was so many years ago now. It's just like I remember saying to my dad, "This whole thing is bullshit, and we're going to see a whole lot more of this." I don't know if what Kevin Spacey did or didn't do. I will say he
Right.
can come on a little creepy, and that doesn't help his case.
It does seem
But-
kind of creepy.
But I did feel at the very beginning like he was almost a prime example of somebody who, I mean, maybe not in the absolute degree that we think, you know, Johnny Depp is an awesome guy. We all love Johnny Depp, and he was getting hammered with that case from Turd. But like, it just felt like this was not Harvey Weinstein. You know, this was just the first of
Yeah.
a long series of bullshit.
I mean, it does fit his MO, but at the same time, I don't know. In this instance, I feel like it's just guy's kind of outing himself as gay here. If you think about it,
I mean,
Yeah.
I could say something now, but it'll be controversial. So I don't know if maybe I should just keep my mouth shut.
I don't know. You can type in the background, and I'll tell you if it'll be that bad.
I don't feel like it.
It's up to you. Pilgrim Media sends it to it. Says, "What will the world look like without Xbox?" Kind of like it looked like before.
I will say this to me. I knew a guy that worked like, you know, in entertainment, and he said something interesting to me about Kevin Spacey, who he had run into a few times. It wasn't like a good friend of his or anything, but there were a few situations that he actually encountered him. And he was trying to tell me that sometimes within, you know, again, I'm quoting what somebody told me. I don't know if this is true. I'm adding all the disclaimers. But what the guy said, you know, sometimes in more like gay culture, sometimes, you know, people are more kind of upfront, and Kevin Spacey is just the kind of guy who's a little more aggressive in how he, like, you know, hits on men or whatever it is. And I don't know. I mean, he was saying that you know, maybe within that community, some of those things are more common, but I don't really know. I couldn't say one way or another.
I could
Yeah,
say
I
a
see
thing
where
I
you're coming
probably,
from.
I probably should be careful about. People who are not exactly what they seem, you can usually tell because of how aggressive they are. If you catch my drift. At least
Right.
that's my experience.
And especially what I was told by the person that was telling me this, especially if you think of like, you know, a few of those people that complained about Spacey, they went to like bars that were special for people with certain preferences. And at those bars, sometimes, people are more, I don't know, maybe today times have changed. Maybe at the time people
All you
were
got to
more
do is tap your foot under the stall, and
I guess I don't really even know, but I guess what I'm saying is that a few of those people that are like, we were at a bar like that and he was like hitting on us, and they were complaining about him that he was aggressive, but I don't know. I mean, I think that probably in some cases maybe he did something wrong, and in some cases maybe it's just over exaggeration, but I don't really know, and they weren't able to mount any case against him. Nothing they did
Right.
worked.
Yeah, I'm not gonna speculate too much farther than that on that one.
Nope. It's best that we move on and never discuss this again.
And as far as the Xbox thing, I looked it up, and as far as I can tell, I don't see anything going on as far as like they're not making any more machines or anything like that. So I don't know if you're just saying that. You'll have to expand upon that, Pilgrim Media, in the chat to let me know what you mean by that. If there's a reason why you're saying that, or if you're just saying it just because they suck. Dead Man says with $5, I wonder what Tom and Price think of Gilmore versus. Oh, don't even go.
We're not going to even start.
I
But he
bit
wrote
my
just
tongue
kidding.
when he said Gilmore, and I just kept my mouth shut. Mikey, I hope you feel better. Says, what are your panel's thoughts of the forthcoming amazing film and Accountant 2? How do you know it's amazing?
I'm looking forward to it, Mikey.
Actually, I have not seen the trailer yet because I still haven't seen the Accountant 1. But we could watch the trailer, I guess. Although I'll probably have to cut it out.
I've seen the Accountant 1, yeah.
I didn't see the first movie, but I saw the trailer for this second movie, and it looked pretty good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch the first one just to make.
Yeah, I do want to watch it too, so I can maybe then even understand.
Yeah, I don't love the music in the trailer, but the trailer's not like, I mean, it looks okay.
Yeah, it's a long ass trailer.
Discuss with.
Yeah, it looks like I wouldn't be disappointed by it. I'm not sure, like it's
I feel like it's going to be like the first one. I thought that the first one was a decent movie. It's not one that I think about often, but I didn't suffer while watching it. It was a pretty decent type of action movie, and I think that this one is probably going to be decent as well.
Yeah, it kind of has that sense, like it's like it'll be satisfying enough if you're into that kind of format and that structure, and you can just come back to it in the future, which is like
yeah, I can see it being like what Phantom Pro here says. It's Rain Man meets John Wick, basically. Yeah, I can see that. You have 4 copies of it, Mike?
Wow.
Well, I seen the 4K is $20, so I'll try to get it next week.
I don't have it. I've never even watched it, so I'm just saying.
There you go. Well, you got a show coming up here, Nick, in about an hour.
I do. We're going to be talking Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and it's going to be excellent. I can't wait. I mean, there's going to be guitar, there's going to be Iron Maiden, there's going to be Van Halen. It's just going to be bodacious. And it's going to be huge as well, Tom. I mean, this time it's going to be Yes Way.
I should be there, and I'm probably, I mean, on YouTube, I got to be probably one of the foremost authorities on Bill and Ted. I
was going to say, you are like the authority for it, so it'd be kind of weird if you weren't there.
Yeah, and then Mikey says, I forgot to mention, did the entire panel see the new trailer to The Accountant 2? We have now.
So he must be looking forward to it.
And then Packing Proton says, retiring, I'm glad to see my favorite James Doohan on his farewell tour. Oh, but the poor guy could barely put sentence together and was drug out there by family, no doubt. Oh, yeah, I didn't know this was his last hoorah. That's too bad. Yeah, he didn't make it to the Star Trek event I went to. Yeah, so yeah, I'll be hanging out with Nick in about an hour. Price, you got stuff coming up later too, don't you?
Yeah, at 11:45 p.m. Eastern, there's the Night Owl on my live channel, on my live stream channel, which is Price of Reason Live. So if anybody feels like it, you can subscribe to Price of Reason Live.
All right. And we got CC. Anything going on for you?
I might actually tune into your show, Price, while I'm tearing down my channel. No, otherwise, not a whole lot going on here. Same old, dealing with it.
Yeah, well, good luck with that anyway. For
It's been fun. No, it's been awful, but yeah, it'll be all right.
All right. Well, with that, we're gonna pull out, unlike Elon Musk.
Pulling out is a lie.
He pulls in. He said. Anyhow.
You remember? That's hilarious.
Anyhow, I should be hanging out with Nick in just a little bit, so hopefully we see you guys over there. Take care of yourselves and each other, and see ya. Bye. Bye.
Cute kitty.
Available now for the first time ever on DVD from Midnight's Edge After Dark Productions. It's My Two Dads, the complete first season starring Mexican Iron Man Tom Connors and Culture Casino. Available now for $19.99 while supplies last.